Y'all, y'all, y'all ready for this? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Sports. My name is Rev Trev. I'm so glad you're here today. We're going to be doing part two with my friend Let Us Pray. He is doing a new podcast on Podbean. Warriors 2, it'll be in the description here somewhere. I want to encourage you not only to follow him, but there is some conversation we're going to be having about the Packers, about the NFC, the AFC, about the playoffs coming up, about dark horses that we were talking about. So today's content is incredible, but it's really part two. The other video was long enough. I just figured we just got to do two videos here. So I want to introduce you to this video, and we're going to dive right in right now. And thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. Definitely go out and check out his podcast as well, and love the support, love that you're here and viewing this content. Hope that you like it, and hope that you can definitely comment. I'd love to chat with you. So here it is. I just want to jump into something. I'm throwing this at you. You don't know anything about this. Okay, so I think the NFC is stronger than an AFC by a mile. I'm looking for the NFC championships and the playoffs, and I'm just so excited in these last few weeks to see. Now, I know that you're predicting the Seahawks with an upset win over the 49ers, which I was shocked when I heard that on the podcast. But because I kind of think they're my dark horse. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers make the playoffs. They're going to sneak in. I was looking at the schedule in a little bit there. But anyways, the monster teams are, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay, obviously my Packers are there. The Cardinals, the Bucs, the Rams should be in that conversation. I think the Cowboys are pretenders. I think you are more high on them than me. I'm not a fan. I watch them and I don't like them. I think when they play the good teams, they're not going to be it. Okay, and then am I missing somebody? Am I missing another contender? Because I think those are the big ones.
So you got Packers,
Rams, Cardinals, and Buccaneers. Those are my big boys.
Those are the studs, man.
Okay, so let's talk about this then. So a buddy of mine sent this to me. Okay, get this.
All right.
Green Bay. Here's a crazy stat. He says, good friend of mine. Okay, Green Bay has only played 5 teams with a winning record. One of those teams were without a starting quarterback, wide receiver, and running back. We know that's the Arizona Cardinal game. And only have one game remaining against a team with a winning record. Should be able to win out, but what happens in the playoffs against good teams? Okay, that's it. I'm done. Okay, so he got me fired up because I'm like, I'm not talking as a biased fan. I want I'm taking off the Packers.
Don't get Rev fired up, man. Don't get Rev.
I'm taking off the Packers hat right now. My hair looks good. Okay, and this is the thing. Okay, this is the thing. Every single team plays garbage teams. We don't know when the season starts if they're going to be making the playoffs or not. So I agree that we've only played 5 teams with a winning record. But because we played so many teams with a non-winning record, does that make it that we're not good? Now, here's the thing, okay? This is where I threw back. I went in and checked out the Buccaneers.
Right.
Okay? I checked out the Buccaneers schedule, and you know how many winning teams they've played? They played the Patriots. They lost to the Rams. They only beat the Patriots by 2. They lost to the Rams by 10. They played. They lost to Washington, was not a playoff team, and they beat the Colts, who is a playoff team. Like they hardly have played. And they beat the Cowboys in week 1 by 2.
So same thing.
So what I'm saying is it's the same thing. The only team that's the exception to this rule is the Cardinals. They're 9-2, right? This is what blows me away about the Cardinals, and this is why I'm most concerned that the Cardinals could win the NFC Championship game. They're winning without Kyler Murray.
That's phenomenal.
Right.
They're winning with Colt McCoy, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Colt
I like him, but
McCoy. I didn't even know he was still in football before this season.
Okay.
Honestly, Colt McCoy, if this gets to Colt McCoy, bro, I am not throwing shade at you at all. I'm not saying you're a bad player. I honestly did not know you were still in the league, brother. The fact that they're winning with Colt McCoy is phenomenal, man. I thought they were done once Murray went down. They went without Murray and D-Hop for at least 2-3 weeks there.
Yeah.
And then they've been without Murray for like a month. So
and the
fact that they're
Packers
9-2,
only beat them by 3 without those 3 guys. So
exactly.
I understand the argument here.
Yeah, the Cardinals, that defense, man, the defense is the real deal. Isaiah Simmons is a monster. I mean, that guy is all over the place. And Budda Baker, man, he might be one of the best safeties in the league now.
Oh, for sure.
He's all over the place making plays. So he reminds me of a kind of like a Earl Thomas mold back in the day. He's just all over the place, man, making plays. So Cardinals, very impressive. Very impressive.
Totally. So I feel like, okay, so we'll just finish the Cardinals talk just real quick to get on here. But I feel like, okay, everyone's beatable. Now, we always know that. There's parity. Every year you can say that. But this year especially. See, so the Cardinals are on fire. They're amazing. They're beating teams without their guys, blah, blah, blah. And then they go in and they play the Panthers, and Cam Newton rips it up on them, and it's 34-10, right? So they play the Bears next. They play the Rams next. They play the Lions, Colts, Cowboys, and back to Seahawks. So which they just beat by 10. So it's not that it's going to be easy for them, but I'm thinking in the playoffs, they're a solid team. I'm still picking my Packers because any given Sunday, and if we get healthy, I think we can compete with anybody and beat anybody, and we find ways to win. Now, they find ways to win too. But if you look at the whole league, okay, can the Patriots be beaten? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the Chiefs? I love the Chiefs. In fact, I'm going to the game in a couple weeks in LA. So the Chiefs, like, are they even going to win the division? The Chiefs. We all think they might, but they might not. Maybe it's Denver or maybe it's the Chargers. We don't know. We're going to find out. Right. Pittsburgh, no. Buffalo, they can be beaten. Right. So like, who out of here? Like, there's no like clear cut. This team's going to win the Super Bowl. This year is insane. The Buccaneers have looked terrible. The Rams have looked terrible. The Packers have looked terrible at times, right? All these teams. So this is what I'm saying is all these people, they think they know, but nobody knows nothing.
It's such a toss up. You're right. I did my Super Bowl contenders, I think a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And I had pretty much the same list you had, except for I did have the Cowboys in there. The reason I have the Cowboys
is because but they're not. I think they lose in the playoffs. Like, you're not saying they're going to win the NFC Championship. You say they might go, right?
Anybody could lose. So I give them a puncher's chance just like anyone else, okay? Because you look at it, just going by paper, okay? You have Dak Prescott. You have
Lamb.
You got to have Ezekiel Elliott, though. I'm going to be honest. He hasn't looked right.
You don't need him. You got Pollard. He's better.
And that's what I was going to say. But you got a guy who's basically better than Ezekiel Elliott, but they won't declare him the starter because Elliott makes more money. Like, I'm not really understanding that dynamic. There's some pride, some ego going on there.
Just throw screens to the guy. Let him run. Let him go.
You got to play your best guys, man.
Yeah,
you got to play your best guys.
Eckler. Just throw him the ball in this flat and let him fly.
Man, this guy is dynamic. And then you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Amari Cooper, you got Michael Gallup, and you got Schultz in the middle. Like, who can guard all those guys? Like,
well, apparently a lot of the league can.
But they haven't been healthy. They haven't been healthy. But they just got Cooper and they just got Lamb back, and they torched the Saints the other night. And the loss to the Raiders, they didn't have Cooper or Lamb. So I can completely understand why they lost that game.
Right.
But they can definitely be beat, even with all the dynamics. I think the Cardinals are going to lose their first game in the playoffs.
What?
The Cardinals, this has always been my football theory, and it has rarely failed. It doesn't matter what your regular season record is, to some extent, it's about playoff experience. Playoff experience has a lot to do with how successful you are in the playoffs. That coach has never coached in the playoffs before. That quarterback has never been in the playoffs before. I don't know how many of those players I've ever even tasted the playoffs. They got a lot of young players, man. I think they shrink in the playoffs because they've never dealt with that pressure before. And that's just my theory. Kansas City Chiefs a few years ago, they were on fire, man. Everybody's, the Chiefs are going to the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest thing ever. They lost to the Patriots. They lost, man. It took them some bumps and bruises and some setbacks before they were able to know what was required of them to get to a Super Bowl and to win in the playoffs. And I think in any sport, I think that's the formula that I go by. You got to have some setbacks. You got to take some L's before you can get to that trophy, man. So
right.
I mean, that doesn't say a lot coming from an Atlanta Falcons fan, considering all the L's that we've taken over the years. But
you know what losing looks like.
but that's always been my theory, man, and it pretty much comes to fruition every year. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Everybody thought they were going to win the Super Bowl when he was lighting it up, and I was like, nah, I don't think so. Pick the Titans upset over the Ravens that year. I mean, you got to take some L's before you can, know what it takes to win.
I'm with you. So my Super Bowl prediction at the beginning of the year was Packers over Titans. And after week one, I looked like a fool. They both got killed. And then they started ripping it up. And all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm looking smart here. I'm looking smart. Yeah. And then King Henry goes down. And I'm thinking, okay, then it's over, right? But then they kept winning. So no one's talking about them anymore. But if Henry's back for the playoffs, I think that they're that team that nobody's talking about that's going to make a run. Now, I could be wrong, but I like Tannehill quite a bit. I'm not saying that the Packers going to the Super Bowl, this is going to be easy. This is going to be a bloodbath in the NFC. So that's just mine. What do you have as your Super Bowl prediction?
It's tough because I had Kansas City going back. Kansas City going back, and they've looked so bipolar this year. I mean, and to be honest, even when they're winning, they're not winning like
they used to.
Impressively. Yeah. They're doing enough to win, but you got to credit the league. The league catches up eventually. They're just not going to let Tyreek Hill beat you for 70-yard touchdowns every game anymore. I mean, you just can't allow that.
No, you can't.
As a defensive coordinator, if you know it's coming, you got to be able to game plan against it. And that's what teams are doing. They're making Mahomes take the short stuff. They're making him dunk it down to Kelsey, dunk it down to these guys, man, and forcing them to matriculate all the way down the field, get first downs. And it's really been working. I still think the Chiefs can get it done. I'm still going to pick them in the AFC, but I agree with you. The Titans are my dark horse. If they get Henry back healthy, they get AJ Brown healthy, and then Julio, he's a wild card. We don't even know if he's going to be playing, but that would be a scary team to face in the playoffs, man.
Right.
But I got Kansas City, and then NFC is such a hard division, but I'm gonna go your Packers, man. I'm gonna go Chiefs versus the Packers, and I'm only picking the Packers because like I've said before, I've tweeted it. Devontae Adams.
Come on, man. best.
My hometown, East Palo Alto, California. The boy can ball.
Mm-hmm.
He can ball. Nobody in the league can guard this man one-on-one. Nobody. So,
and even gets open double teamed.
I mean,
okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, so there's two guys in the league, used to be three in my opinion, that were unguardable. Like, doesn't matter what you do, they still get their points or their yards. One is Devontae Adams. The other one used to be Tyreek Hill, but they figured it out, right? But it's Kelsey is the other guy. I don't care what you do. He rarely gets shut down, right? Is there anyone else in the league that's like them? Like you would say, nobody can stop this guy. You know, like Mike Evans should be that guy with his stature, but he's not.
He's not
right.
Yeah, he's not.
Like, is there another guy? And I'm talking about wide receiver, tight end thing. I think for running backs, a guy like Henry is in that conversation. But now Jonathan Taylor might be there as well. But yeah, he's a stud. But I'm talking about wide receivers. Is there anyone else that's like, you can't stop that guy? I don't care what happens. I can't think of another guy.
I think D-Hop, man. He gets doubled and tripled a lot now because he's the focal point of that offense. But one-on-one, you're not gonna stop D-Hop one-on-one, man. And he does shred, double coverage as well. But an up-and-coming guy, Deebo Samuel, man.
Oh yeah, he looks good.
Ooh, he's breaking Jerry Rice type records right now. Like, do you know what that means when you say Jerry Rice? Like arguably the GOAT of wide receivers.
Yeah. Well, actually, didn't the NFL do the top, 100 players, and he was number one?
Thank you, Jerry. I mean, anytime you're in the same conversation with Jerry, bro, you're doing something special. So I think Deebo is on to something special. He just got hurt though, so hopefully he gets back soon. But Deebo has been killing it. Deebo Samuel. He's on his way up, man.
All right. So you guys heard it here first. A Falcons fan is picking the Packers for the Super Bowl. Obviously I am too, but that's because I think this is the last dance. This is the thing. I'm hoping Rodgers comes back, don't get me wrong. But I'm thinking this is our time. Our defense is unbelievable. Anyways, this has been quite a good conversation. Thanks for everyone who's kind of made it to this stage. I hope that you've not only been entertained, but that you've learned something. We've been thought provoking. We've dived into it. This might be cut up into 2 videos. Who knows? But I just want to thank my friend for being on the podcast or the channel, and then I just love your podcast. So please sign up for his podcast, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe on mine. Follow him on the podcast, and definitely follow on Twitter. He's a good follow. So go Dub Nation.
Yeah.
And great to see them. I would love to chat another day about Steph Curry, and I'm pumped about Clay coming back, but that's another conversation for another day.
Got to get back on with a whole nother Warriors.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone, and of course, like always, go Pack Go, and love the support. Thanks so much.
Y'all,
All right, Rev.
y'all,
Thanks for having me, bro.
y'all ready for this? Yeah.